There's something quietly magnetic about you. Something that draws people in without you even trying. Yet, that same magnetism often turns into resentment, confusion, or even hostility over time. You've probably felt it. The subtle shift in someone's tone, the sudden distance after a moment of truth, or the invisible wall people build around you when they realize you see more than they can handle. You don't intend to provoke it. You don't mean to make people uncomfortable. But INFJ, your very existence challenges people on a level they don't even understand. This video isn't about making you feel like a victim. It's about understanding why people secretly hate you, even when they seem to admire you on the surface. Because once you understand the psychology behind it, you stop internalizing it, and start walking in your truth unapologetically. 1. You reflect people's hidden selves, and they can't stand it. INFJs don't just see faces, they see souls. You read between words, behind smiles, and beneath silence. You have this piercing intuitive radar that scans emotions, intentions, and contradictions in real time. And the moment someone stands before you, their masks begin to crumble, not because you try to expose them, but because your energy doesn't allow pretense to breathe. People sense this almost instantly. They feel seen, and while that may sound flattering, it's actually terrifying to those who've built their lives around facades. You make people confront the parts of themselves they've buried, their insecurities, their manipulative tendencies, their self-deception. You hold up a mirror so clear it's blinding. This reflection activates something primal, shame. And shame often disguises itself as hatred. It's easier to label you as weird, too deep, or too intense, than to face the truth you quietly reveal through your presence. So when people start resenting you without cause, understand this. They're not hating you, they're hating the version of themselves that your light reveals. And still, you stay silent, not to protect yourself, but to protect them from the truth they're not ready to see. 2. Your calm destroys their chaos. In a world addicted to noise, your calm feels like rebellion. You don't chase attention. You don't compete for validation. You don't need to prove your worth through performance, and that drives certain personalities absolutely mad. People who thrive on drama and external affirmation see your quietness as a threat. You have what they crave: inner peace, depth, and an unshakable moral compass. They mistake your stillness for arrogance because they can't imagine existing without constant motion or approval. Your silence becomes unsettling because it forces others to sit with themselves. It creates a vacuum, and in that vacuum, they start hearing their own chaos echoing back. This is why so many people misunderstand you. They project their insecurities onto your peace, interpreting your calm detachment as judgment. But the truth is, you're not judging, you're just observing. And for those who can't face their own inner noise, your presence feels like exposure. Remember, INFJ, your peace threatens those whose identity depends on turmoil. Your stillness reminds them that their chaos isn't power, it's avoidance. And so they call you cold, detached, mysterious. When in reality, you're simply at home within yourself, and that's something they've never learned how to do. 3. You love too deeply, and it makes people feel unworthy. INFJ love is not casual. It's not halfway. When you care about someone, you give from the depths of your soul. You remember details they've long forgotten, you sense pain they haven't voiced, and you offer understanding most people didn't even know they needed. But here's the paradox: your depth, which should be cherished, often becomes the very reason people pull away. Because your love demands vulnerability. It calls others to rise to their truest, most honest selves, and not everyone wants that kind of exposure. You might have noticed how people are drawn to your empathy in the beginning, almost addicted to your understanding energy. But over time, something shifts. They start feeling small next to your sincerity. They begin to realize they can't match your emotional intelligence or your capacity to love without games. And instead of being inspired, they feel intimidated. Your love, to them, becomes a silent judgment, a reminder that they are still half asleep in their emotional life. So they begin to sabotage it, question it, or distance themselves to protect their ego. They might say you're too much, when in truth, they've simply never been loved at your level before. Don't dim that love to make others comfortable. Your depth is not the problem. Their fear of drowning is. 4. You're too honest in a world built on pretending. INFJs have an almost allergic reaction to falseness. You can feel it in someone's tone, body language, or even silence. And once you sense dishonesty, you can't unsee it. This makes you the kind of person who, intentionally or not, exposes illusions wherever you go. But here's the thing. The modern world doesn't reward truth, it rewards performance. People prefer comfortable lies to uncomfortable truths, and INFJs don't play that game. You ask real questions. You notice inconsistencies. You don't nod along when something feels wrong. Your integrity isn't loud, but it's disruptive. It shakes social dynamics built on convenience. People can't manipulate you because you see the strings they're pulling, and that frustrates them deeply. You become difficult, aloof, or too serious in their eyes because your presence silently demands authenticity. You've probably had moments when you said something honest, not cruel, just real, and felt the entire room freeze. That's the cost of being the truth bearer in a world addicted to illusion. But here's the deeper insight. People secretly hate the INFJ because your honesty awakens them. You pierce through the fog of their denial, and they hate you for reminding them what real looks like. Stay real anyway. Because while your truth may push some away, it will also magnetically attract those who are truly meant to walk beside you. 5. Your sensitivity makes people confront their emotional immaturity. People love to call INFJs too sensitive, as if that's a flaw. But what they don't realize is that your sensitivity isn't weakness, it's perception sharpened by empathy. You feel the emotional temperature of every room you enter, and you pick up on energies most people don't even know they're emitting. This sensitivity becomes threatening because it highlights how emotionally numb others have become. They can't handle your ability to feel everything. It's like you're operating on a frequency that reveals just how disconnected they are from their own emotions. So instead of admiring your emotional depth, they mock it. They label it as overreacting or drama, when what they're really saying is, I can't meet you at that level of emotional awareness. But INFJs, your sensitivity is your superpower. It allows you to heal, to connect, to sense truth where words lie. You process emotions in colors, in vibrations, in silent intuition that goes beyond language. People secretly hate that you can read them without them speaking. It strips them of control. It exposes their hidden motives. And when someone who's used to manipulating others realizes that they can't manipulate you, they begin to resent the very intuition that makes you who you are. 6. You're too independent to be controlled. INFJs might appear quiet, accommodating, even gentle, but underneath that calm surface lies an iron will that refuses to be dominated. You have your own compass, your own code, and your own way of interpreting the world. People who thrive on control sense this independence immediately. They can't handle that you're guided by intuition rather than social approval. They can't predict you, can't manipulate your reactions, can't guilt you into submission, because your loyalty doesn't come from obligation, it comes from alignment. And when they realize they can't own your mind, they start trying to destroy your confidence instead. They'll call you aloof, hard to read, or emotionally unavailable, when in truth, you're simply refusing to be enslaved by shallow expectations. Your independence is terrifying to people who survive on power games. They mistake your quiet detachment for superiority when in fact it's simply self-respect. People secretly hate INFJs because you prove that it's possible to be kind and firm, gentle and powerful, selfless and sovereign, all at once. They can't cage you, and that frustrates them more than anything. 7. You see the world too clearly, and that clarity exposes the collective denial. At your core, INFJ, you see patterns, not just in people, but in society, systems, and emotions. You notice the hypocrisy that others accept as normal. You see how people hurt each other while pretending to care. You see how humanity hides behind noise to avoid silence. And because you see so clearly, you often feel alien, as if you were born awake in a world that refuses to open its eyes. This clarity makes people uncomfortable because it shatters the illusions they cling to. When you speak, even softly, your words carry truth that cuts through their comfort zone. They hate that your vision exposes their denial, that your awareness dismantles their illusions of control. So they project. They mock your idealism. They dismiss your insights as too much thinking. But deep down, they know you're right, and that's what eats at them. People secretly hate INFJs because you see life without filters, and in doing so, you remind them that their own blindness is self-chosen. You are both the mirror and the light. And while mirrors make people uncomfortable, they are also the only tools that show us who we really are. INFJ, if you've ever felt misunderstood, rejected, or unfairly disliked, remember this truth. People rarely hate you for who you are. They hate you for awakening something in them they aren't ready to face. You are not too much. You are not too intense. You are simply operating on a level of awareness that threatens the illusions others depend on. You don't need to apologize for being real. You don't need to shrink your light to make others comfortable in their darkness. Because the very things people secretly hate about you are the same things that make you powerful beyond measure. Your empathy is rare. Your depth is sacred. Your silence is eloquence. Your clarity is freedom. So keep being you, quietly, fiercely, authentically. The world may resist your truth, but it's your truth that the world needs most. If this message resonated with you, remember, you're not alone. You're part of a small tribe of souls who feel deeply, see clearly, and love unapologetically. Like this video, share it with a fellow INFJ, and let them know their depth is not a curse, it's their calling.